Welcome back. Now, as many as 75.5 people were murdered in South Africa per day in the third quarter of the 2024-25 financial year. This was announced by Minister of Police Senzo Mchunu on Friday. And although the number is high, it represents a decrease compared to the same quarter of the previous financial year. Joining me now, I'd like to welcome TJ Masilela, who is the chairperson of the Gauteng Community Police Board, just to break down these numbers and, of course, South Africa's fight against crime. But TJ, good day. Thank you so much for joining us on News in Focus on Hilaal TV.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. I think, TJ, when you're looking at the numbers and just listening to the tone of Minister Senzo Mchunu, I mean, from your analysis, I mean, how can one sum up this third quarter stats, given that there is a decrease, but yet we're still getting people that are being murdered on our streets?
This last release of stats comes from, I think, the what we call a crazy season, which is your festive season, which is normally problematic in our calendar, as you would know. So as much as they compared to the same time, at the time under review, it's still high. One death is many. What's happening is that we just, for some reason, have lost respect for life. Criminals to even shoot at the cops, let alone while they are trying to steal your cell phone. So it just shows that we are a little bit more violent society, and until we address that, until we get rid of, because many of these people that have died through a bullet or bullet in being shot at. Yes, being shot at, compared to maybe being stabbed and so forth. So it's a violent crime, basically, usage of firearms. So it simply means we have too many loose firearms. That's one thing. Secondly, it simply means that because of our borders that also leaves much to be desired. I know BMA has done a lot, and they are doing so much work. When we visited them, we could see some of the arrests and some of the criminals that would have committed crimes in the country, but we need a bigger BMA with a back force, or should I say, be supported by the South African Defence Force, because some of these guys are heavily armed at our borders, and those that are crossing, yes, they're crossing for different reasons and so forth. But the bottom line is that it's difficult to police undocumented foreign nationals. South Africans also commit crime. Also, they are involved in the gangsterism, and especially in the Western Cape and so forth. Many of these people are killed through stray bullets and all that. But it's that we can. My worry is that the secure conviction is, as a deterrent, is not applied to the maximum, so that you can prevent crime from happening. So crime prevention and social crime can assist a lot, so that you don't have business robberies and business crime and so forth. So the basic is your social crime and obviously your crime prevention. If you prevent from happening, you're standing a better chance to have a reasonable crime stats. As long as the human beings exist, there will be crime, but it needs to be contained. It needs to be addressed, and we have means. Listen to this. We have means. I just wish that the politicians can have more will, because as far as I'm concerned, the people on the ground, ourselves, the volunteers, and to some extent good police officers and law enforcement agencies do a lot, but it's now the conviction and the secure conviction correctional services, which is at another level, which we need to focus on. And it simply means if we can have our politicians have a buy-in, what the minister is saying is fine, but it needs to be put in action. You can speak as much as you want, but you need to you speak less and let's have more action.
I mean, TJ, I think you echo a lot of what South Africans are saying, and a lot of it comes down to the state of the police stations. I mean, you get many police stations, especially when it comes to gender-based violence, where females would go to the police station and get immediately turned away, or there will be a lack of resources. Of course, last week's budget speech postponed. One would like to see the Minister of Finance, of course, address how violent crimes or crimes in general are going to be dealt with. But how important is the beefing up of police stations going to be important in really trying to tackle a crime which is, and I know I'm stating the obvious, but it's really at an all-time high in South Africa?
It's very important to beef up with the law enforcement. But having said that, you must also manage the little resources that you say you have. So if you're not managing it properly, you're going always to have issues. It doesn't make sense that a station or a brigadier station has 4 captains, and all of these captains have state cars, and they park their cars at their place of residence as they is struggling with cars to attend complaints or to be driven for visible protection. You have cars that are parked, yes, flying squad. You need those cars to be always on the road, but you can't have one in the same car and it doesn't even stand. It's idling and then others are jumping in. Obviously, the lifespan of that motor vehicle would be. So it simply means that the resources that we are having, we are not also managing it very well. That I can tell you, because if we are, then we shouldn't have cars that are not utilized in the time of emergency. But also, how do you not share? If you have 4 captains, why must all of them have vehicles? Why can't you put them into 2 and then you have at least 2 vehicles that you can still utilize? One during the day, one at night, because that car also needs a breather in between. It's a machine, yes, but it also needs at some point to stand and be serviced and so forth. So we are not also managing. So sometimes we're saying we need boots on the grounds. Yes, we are doing that. We're putting so many people. Fair enough, but are we managing that? Okay, you have the crime wardens that you find at the police station doing basically nothing. 40-50 of those people that you should be utilizing. Yet you have the traffic wardens. Yet most of these robots traffic is controlled by homeless people. Where's our priorities here? So yeah, it's you can put as much as resources. If these resources are not managed properly, you'll find yourself at square root 1. I honestly believe October, November, and I learned what technology can do. Most of the work, apart from that, they have enough forces. They have plenty. I mean, you're talking about millions of people, but apart from that, they're still using the technology to the fullest. Not just, and I know most of the security companies, most of the other law enforcement, they investing a lot in the technology. But the police, to be specific, they're moving very slow to e-policing, and which is the technology that we want to need. I mean, we have partnered with other people like your MTN, and which are technology companies who will be able to assist with some of the number plate recognitions. Your CCIN guys that are also working on the crime intelligence, but also kidnappings and so forth. Drones, they partner with big security companies. At times where the human being cannot make it, the technology should do that. Technology doesn't sleep. The joint operation centers, those cameras will be on. And you can also invest more on the technology with the solar, knowing that we have issues of load shedding now recently. But will from the private sector, there's a will from the security, there's a will from the community, and to some extent at the police station there is a will, but there's also a very last level that of politicians that I don't think they see the importance of the technology infusion in the crime fighting.
DJ, we just got 1 minute. The role of community policing, I mean, that's massive, isn't it, in trying to assist South African Police Service and other law enforcement authorities in really changing the face of crime? I've got 1 minute to ask you this question.
Force multipliers dedicated to this country. They're always there, always available with the resources. People at times will decide to buy data and send information. So there's no doubt about our commitment and the commitment of all those that are out there. So we appeal and we hope that God will have mercy on us. We have one country to defend, and this is our country.
You couldn't have said it even any better to close off the show. TJ Masilela, chairperson of the Gauteng Community Police Board, thank you so much for joining us. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's TJ Masilela, who serves as the Gauteng Community Police Board chairperson. That's all we have for you on News in Focus. From myself, Ross Patel, the rest of the team in Johannesburg. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.